Welcome everybody to another episode of The Blackout. I am your host with the most, all the way from the East Coast. And as always, folks, I am in airplane mode, and I am joined by the biggest, the baddest, the meanest, the nastiest, the murder nerd who is against the word. I am talking about the host of Gin and Truth, where apologetics goes to die. I'm talking about the Texas Longhorn legend himself. Give it up for Robert motherfucking Reed.
Let's do it. Let's and Ryan just did that. Now the boys, for whatever reason, maybe they heard it. Holy shit, what's going on? Look, I got Bubba wants to get down on this. Now they left. You little bastards. Yeah. Another great intro.
Why did Uncle Bobby?
What's that?
Uncle Bobby is clean shaven maven, baby.
Yeah.
What made the call?
No idea. I haven't seen my face literally in 30 years. That's really it. I've had facial hair of some kind since I left high school, because in high school, one of my coach's rules was no facial hair, not a shadow, no whiskers, no nothing. And so I graduated high school. It's like, oh, I don't have to shave anymore. So, yeah. So I've always had facial hair.
Wow.
And I was like, fuck it. So to answer the question, that is why.
When I was in high school, it was my sideburns. I used to like to wear my sideburns down, and I went to Catholic school, and you were not allowed to wear your sideburns past like the midway point of your ear, and I would get like uniform infractions for having my sideburns too long. So that was always my thing. But yeah, man, it's crazy the type of strict rules that were in school when we were coming up. Seems almost petty now.
Well, it is petty, and I'm all for discipline, structure, but you're talking about Catholic school. I'm talking about high school football. This isn't the United States military. No one's life is on the line.
Right.
And so it's just like, are you really going to sit here and measure, okay, that's 1/4 of an inch past the mid portion of the ear. Your sideburn is officially a lamb chop. There's a uniform. And it was like, why? Why? So, yeah. And yeah, what if you couldn't afford a razor? There were no excuses. There were no fucking excuses.
None. They might drag you in the restroom and provide one for you.
You found a fucking way. So yeah, I think I know kids need discipline and structure, but what I got out of the facial hair thing, I've got no fucking clue. No.
Absolutely.
But that's why I shaved.
Yeah, man, looking clean.
Thank you. It feels weird.
All right, gang. Today's episode is going to be painful. This one's gonna hurt.
Yeah,
we're gonna be talking about the new Speaker of the House, Mike Johnson, who's just the topic of the week. He's just the asshole of the week. Yep. And different people have been, jumping into his stuff, but I really wanted y'all to see a couple things. One, I want people to see this clip of where he actually blames school shootings on the teaching of evolution, because it's a thing I heard, and Aaron Ross said he was going to do a video on it, but I didn't actually get to see it. So I found the clip, and then we're actually going to look at sort of the way the conservative content creators have been celebrating his appointment as, a victory for God or whatever. And I think that that's important, because most of the content I've seen about Mike Johnson's stuff has been from the left. and that's fine. You know, we're all concerned about it. It's clearly he's clearly a Christo-fascist into the Christian nationalism and all of this. But it also is interesting when you see them sort of tap dancing and doing their victory celebrations. We are you know, when your opponents are celebrating, you Uncle Bobby, you know how it is when the other team's doing a touchdown dance. There's a problem.
That means you fucked up.
Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. No, this is going to be.
Go ahead.
Well, it's just I'm an independent. I have voted for Republicans and I have voted for Democrats. If I think you'll do the right job, the most amount of good for the most amount of people, I'll vote for you. But yeah, like you said, it's who is celebrating Mike Johnson's appointment to Speaker of the House.
Right.
Fox News is happy. Lauren Boebert is happy. Kayleigh McEnany is happy. If the University of Houston is celebrating, that means as a Texas defender, I fucked up. When Kayleigh McEnany has a smile on her face, we have an issue.
Yes, exactly.
Mike Johnson's nickname is MAGA Mike Johnson. He is an election denier. He wanted to literally criminalize gay people going to bed together and having sex. Yep. He likened homosexuals having sex, consensual sex, mind you, to bestiality. The people that are celebrating this quote unquote victory tells you everything you need to know about this appointment, and it's sitting on some bullshit. We just elected hate on two legs. Hate on two legs.
Yes. Also, unfortunately, non-believer tested positive today for COVID-19. We hope you feel better.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, be careful, people. You know, still out there. Hope you get some good treatment. Hope you get well soon. Definitely sorry you're not feeling well. All right, gang, let's jump into this. So the first thing we're gonna do is jump into this clip. Then we're gonna learn not fun facts about Mike Johnson, and then we will get into this other video. All right, so let's hit it with the Autobots transform. Then we got to roll out.
Yep.
And then we got to hit this with the situation with the blow up situation.
Oh, look at that title. Oh God, this is gonna hurt so bad.
Yes. Shout out to Midas Touch though. I want to say something else before I get into this. These people know they're bad people. So there's been some talk about his wife, Mike Johnson's wife, basically ran a Christian counseling center. But please notice how as soon as he became elected Speaker of the House, that site disappeared.
Absolutely.
And similarly, as soon as he became Speaker of the House, this sermon disappeared. So this sermon is private on YouTube. So this clip we found through Midas Touch. So it's just amazing that if they are so into what they're doing, if everything they're doing is above board, why are they always hiding stuff?
Because they know.
Yeah.
They know.
Yeah.
Damn.
It's that you know, conservative straight Christian, how else can I offend you mentality.
Oh God.
But also look at this. This is something that's very interesting to me that you see that these churches literally have. I wouldn't even want an American flag on the stage at my church. That's weird enough. But this is back in 2016, and just look at that Israeli flag.
Oh yeah,
on the church stage. Right next to him.
Yep, absolutely.
And gang, you may not realize this, but there's an alarming number of Republicans who actually have Israeli flags in their offices. I've been to actually the Speaker of the House for the state of Michigan visited their office, and they had an Israeli flag in their office. And I'm sure a lot of the national people do too. So you know, it's scary times that we're living in.
But it's, to me, the flag of Israel It's like what the American flag was right after 9/11. It's at this stage, it is a fashion statement. It is Jordache. It is Jabot. It is Carl Kanai. And after 9/11, the exact same people who could not be bothered to stand for the national anthem during sporting events, all that, all of a sudden, this surge of patriotism. And I remember at work, there were several people mad than a motherfucker because they had ordered, let's say, like the 50-foot American flag, but they were sold out. So they had to settle for the 25-foot American flag. And I was like, this is a fashion statement to you.
Wow.
Right? You never joined the military. I never joined, but I'm an Army
Right.
brat. You got no skin in the game. This is just quite simply a fashion statement. That's the whole thing with, stand for the anthem, communist motherfucker, love it or leave it. I remember when you didn't stand. I remember when you were too busy with hot wings, beer, and emotionally neutral fucking conversation. And there was one game where I was in someone's luxury box, and quite literally, her and her friends, we were about 3/4 of the way through the national anthem, and they're like, "Oh, the song." It's like, the song? And these were the exact same people. And we're like, "Love it, Colin Kaepernick, go fuck yourself." That's what the Israeli allegiance is to me.
Yeah.
Where was this fire in your belly for Israel this time last year? Right? It's like the whole Black Lives Matter thing. I asked for this respect in the 80s, and I was literally laughed at. Well, I've never owned a slave, motherfucker. Go fuck yourself. But now all of a sudden, you're getting pats on the back, right? It's like, well, I told my black friend he matters. That's what this is to me.
Yeah.
This is a fashion statement to say, I'm pro-Israel. Name 2 things about Israel right now.
Yes. And
it's a fashion statement.
It's interesting, like I said, this is from 2016, so it's before the current conflict. But it's also this really misguided thing where Christians are pro-Israel, and I guess Israel's so happy to have this support, but Christians just really think getting Israel back in the hands of Israelis and the Jewish people is a way to bring about the Christian apocalypse, where God then takes the land from them to establish his kingdom. So it's this weird thing, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
They want this self-fulfilling prophecy. And all right.
It's like saying, I want you to win the custody battle so I can then kidnap your child.
Pretty much. Pretty much. How do I think I'm a mod. How do I approve that comment? I don't even.
Oh, it should, you just like there's 3 little dots next to it or something. It should say approve there.
All right.
Boom.
I'm trying. Okay. Fuck it. I'm trying to help. Okay. Non-believer, you got it. All right. Want to keep everyone on the up and up. All right. What do you say we roll this fucked up ass clip? Let's get pissed off.
Before we do, Stephanie SR, Secularity, and myself joined Stephanie for her 100th video on Friday night. That was super fun. So there's a link in the description for Stephanie Helms's channel. Go ahead and definitely check that out. We had a good time, and we talked about this topic. We're talking about Christian nationalism and Mike Johnson. So definitely want to follow up with that if you haven't already seen it. All right, let's go ahead and roll this clip. Cheers, Uncle Bobby. Oh yeah, we're gonna need a swig or something in here.
Oh yeah, big time. I'm gonna need a refill too. Shit.
Go for it. All right, here we go.
Some of y'all were around in the late 60s. You remember that, what that was about. The counterculture revolution, Woodstock and drugs and peace and free love and all that, but more about the undermining of the foundations of religion and morality. Because if you remember, in the late 60s, we invented things like no-fault divorce laws. We invented the sexual revolution. We invented radical feminism. We invented legalized abortion.
All right, pause this real quick. This is... He just did so much in 20 seconds, y'all.
I was about to say.
He just did
God
so
damn.
much in 20 seconds.
Oh,
Because
this
even
is painful.
really talking about the 60s, he's like, oh yeah, it was about Woodstock and drugs and sex.
And I was waiting to hear something negative. What's
Right, really. But also it's a total papering over of the shift in consciousness, right? Where people became anti-war and they were questioning capitalism, they were questioning the social hierarchy, they were fighting against racism, they were fighting for feminism. And he just sums up that entire period like, oh no, they just wanted to listen to Jimi Hendrix records and smoke pot.
Yeah.
And the no fault divorce thing is crazy too, because he's in a covenant marriage, y'all, which is a special type of marriage that basically is very hard to get out of. It like legally obligates you to go to like marriage counseling, and you can only really get a divorce in very rare circumstances, like maybe infidelity or like abuse or something, not even sure. But don't think he threw that no fault divorce thing out there. Nothing he threw out there was unintentional. He literally is against no fault divorces because he believes in a covenant marriage.
These fuck faces have too much time on their hands.
Way too much.
Well, it's like when I hear people like Steven Crowder being pissed off about no fault divorce. It's like, look, if you're in a bad situation, get out. Don't stick around regardless your reason. If you're not happy, you need to get out of that relationship, whether you're dating someone, friendship, marriage, get the fuck out. But it's like, if my next door neighbors who are married, if their shit just crumbles and fizzles and they get a divorce, how does that hurt me? How does that affect me? So this whole thing, well, we have to outlaw, it's all kinds of fucked up that there's no fault divorce. Why? Why does someone else's marriage dissolving negatively affect Mike Johnson 1 ounce? I don't even want that kind of time.
It's more Christians worrying about problems that aren't real problems. My parents, to their credit, were model divorced parents. And I remember growing up having friends who like their parents had all sorts of fucked up relationships. I mean, to the point that it was like hard to talk to these particular people on the phone. You know, you'd be talking to a girl on the phone. Yeah, sorry, you know how it is. My dad's just screaming at my mom again. You know, yeah. I hope he doesn't put her through the wall while we're on the call.
I've seen it.
You're sitting there trying to get your flirt on through the domestic violence in the background.
Yeah, I'm about to say, well, Tina and Ike are having it out in the background.
Yeah. I'm trying to have some damn phone sex, and your parents are having a WWE wrestling match in the background.
Yeah. I've seen it. Yep.
But no, to my parents' credit, you know, they got divorced, and there's been some moments along the way that were kind of like, oh yeah, this is a thing that happens to divorced children. So like on more than one occasion, my parents both got me the same gift independently of each other. It's like, yeah, married parents don't have this problem. They kind of coordinate their gift giving, a little bit.
Crazy thing.
Yeah, but to this day, my parents are friends, and they get along well. Hey, sometimes they get along with each other better than they get along with me. This is just how life goes. You know, my dad always had a key to my mother's parents' house. He could always come through. In other words, sometimes divorce is really what's best for everybody.
Absolutely.
And it allows people to be friends. It allows you to have a healthy relationship with your children. And it's just, I just always said, your parents, I would always be like, man, this whole stay together for the kids thing is screwed up.
It's an old school mentality. That's all it is.
Absolutely. All right, let's hear this fool.
The state, the government sanctions the killing of the unborn. All these things happen because as collectively as Americans, we began to get together in growing numbers and thumb our nose at the Creator and say, we don't believe that anymore. We're rejecting the founders' natural law in favor of moral relativism, and we are going down another path. Now, what we tolerate in moderation, our children excuse in excess. What happens when you fast forward another 30 or 40 years? Well, here's a picture's worth 1,000 words. Go to the next one for me. I mean, we know that we're living in a completely amoral society.
Now look at his slideshow presentation, gang. I don't know how well y'all can see that. It's probably hard to see the image there, but he has. Oh, that definitely didn't help. He has on this picture. He has a San Francisco atheist sign. Women want choice. But then victim identified in shooting, riots going on. Like, this is a collage. It's literally a collage. It's a Christian collage of just all the associations he wants to murder and pro-choice and mass shootings and, you know, like what these things have to do with each other is insane. But gang, just please remember, we're only talking about this man because he was just elected Speaker of the House.
Yep.
All right, here we go.
How can a young person go into their schoolhouse and open fire on their classmates? Because we've taught a whole generation, a couple of generations now of Americans, that there is no right and wrong, that it's about survival of the fittest, and you evolve from the primordial slime. Why is that life of any sacred value? Because there's nobody sacred to whom it's owed.
Hey, Kentucky atheist. All right, let's hear this again.
And open fire on their classmates, because we've taught a whole for me. I mean, we know that we're living in a completely amoral society. And so people say, how can a young person go into their schoolhouse and open fire on their classmates? Because we've taught a whole generation, a couple of generations now of Americans, that there is no right and wrong, that it's about survival of the fittest, and you evolve from the primordial slime. Why is that life of any sacred value? Because there's nobody sacred to whom it's owed.
Pause the tape. Boy, did I come in right on time. Again, Christians, we could have a better conversation if you would actually engage in an actual conversation, right? We're an amoral society. I heard him just blame evolution. It's all survival of the fittest. I remember when I first heard that, having my first talk. Look, we both got to get fucked up for this episode. You hit that pipe 3 times.
Absolutely.
I had to get a refill.
Absolutely.
I remember the first time I heard it was with a pastor that, of course, was trying to convert me back to Christianity. And he's like, well, if evolution is real, then what's wrong with me just beating you up and taking your stuff? I was like, you can try. You can absolutely try to beat me up. I don't recommend that you do it, but that's not evolution. You don't understand. Even I know that this is not. Gang, here, how about this? I'm going to insult the shit out of Jay Bundy because I'm going to talk about evolution, and there's your evolutionary biologist. If I know anything, I can at least tell you what it is not. Evolution is not just these random acts of violence. Evolution is not defined. I've got a 1-story house. My neighbor right there has a 2-story house. According to fuckfaces like this, it's me going over, beating the dog shit out of my neighbors and taking their house because it's bigger than mine. That's not evolution. That's not survival of the fucking fittest.
Yes.
And that's all again, I'm not smart enough to tell you what it is, but I am smart enough to tell you what it is not. And this bullshit representation of evolution so that we can listen to this Christianity bullshit, we would have a better conversation if Christians actually engaged in the actual conversation. But again, that's like, okay, the best way to convert on 3rd and 15 is to hit a home run and then score on a penalty kick. Now, are you writing this down? We're not having the same discussion. So, I mean, this is just bullshit. Absolute bullshit.
Yeah. Also, this is kind of the trap, the intellectual trap of Christianity. So on one hand, he's totally misrepresenting evolution. Totally. Gang, fittest does not mean fitness. It's not about the biggest, the strongest, the fastest. It's, you know, it's about a fit as in well suited to the environment, and fitness measured in, you know, reproductive capacity.
Yep.
But what really is underlying all this is sort of the Christian nihilism. The sort of ideas when they say, well, if there is no God, what's wrong with X, Y, or Z?
Oh God, I hate that.
because nothing about evolution, nothing about the way we teach in public schools, none of that has anything to do with us saying there is no right and wrong, or that it's okay to murder people and all of this type of stuff. But that's where they go. As soon as it's, and it's like a kid who can't win a game and so just takes their ball and goes home, or stabs the ball with a knife or whatever. If I can't have my way, if I can't have my moral system, nobody can have a moral system.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and so that's really desperate. And this is kind of like shocking comments, because even most creationists don't take it to this level. Especially not during a sermon, like on a stage like this. Like, this is genuinely revolting. Again, I had to look it up. I had to find this. Right? Wow. When somebody tells you the Speaker of the House blames teaching evolution for school shootings, for mass murder, you're like, nah, you're missing something. You took something he said out of context. You're not understanding. He just happened to mention those two things during the same sermon. Like,
yeah.
This is crazy. I mean, in our class, we teach our students about the creationist, and part of what we teach them is the way they tie evolution to all sorts of evils, right? They think evolution is holding up a worldview that's based on, that's satanic, literally, and then they blame evolution for abortion and same-sex marriages and bestiality and violence and all of this type of stuff. And it's just really crazy. Like, for me, this is sort of a surreal experience, because I'm always trying to talk to Rob, my teaching mentor. Rob Pennock is the guy I teach with y'all. He actually was the expert witness for evolution in the Kitzmiller versus Dover trial. And so when we're teaching our students this history, I'm always geeking out, because we're talking about creationists and stuff, but we do so as though they're historical. You teach them almost as though this is a conflict that was resolved decades ago. The evolutionary side won, and it's all good because, you're here learning about it in the science class. When the reality is, the sort of creationist movement is still alive and well, and in my estimation is growing. Like, I think they found new life with new media. YouTube and the various social media platforms, and having their own streaming services, and escalating the homeschooling movement, figuring out how to get into these school boards. Like, I don't think these people are gone away at all.
No, God, no, absolutely not. Absolutely not.
And so I'm always trying to slip that in there. Like, I'm always trying to show my students the stuff I'm doing on YouTube. Be like, oh, hey, y'all should see this crazy guy that said this thing. And to have this happen, during the class, like while we're teaching them about creationism and its sort of attempts to undermine science, this happens. And like, this is literally a clip I'm gonna have to show to my students. And it seems like a caricature. Like, he seems like somebody transported out of the past. But no, this is real. Literally your Speaker of the House.
Oh yeah, be afraid.
Yeah. So, but at the same time, it's a nightmare, because we're living through
total nightmare.
The fact that this guy is now I guess second in line to the presidency. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
All right. So let's switch it up a little bit, because there's this other thing that I think is interesting. It's called 20 not fun facts about Mike Johnson. And we're giving the people education on this guy today.
I don't know if we want it.
All right, let's get up here to the top. All right, so I'm in the wrong window. That was no good. There we go. All right, gang. Let's do this. Let's do that. Let's do this. All right.
Here we go.
All right. Look, so I'm actually drop a link to this in the live chat, and then because I'm not gonna read all the details of all these, but we're gonna roll through them. All right. So one, this guy masterminded Trump's election coup. Basically, he crafted the argument that several states had improperly changed their voting rules in response to the pandemic, thus nullifying their results and allowing the Republican House to select the winner. So you can, but check out that link if you guys want the details. He's the least experienced House Speaker in 140 years. He worked for the conservative legal group behind the case that ended Roe v. Wade. He wants to ban abortion nationwide. He blamed abortion for school shootings.
Okay, stop. Now that one, no, sir. I actually need everyone to please go fuck themselves on this. Because I'm actually sick and tired of the games, the bullshit, the thoughts, the prayers, the doors, the rap music, the video games that stop it. Abortion has got absolutely nothing to do with shootings. And you guys want to know why here in the US we have hundreds of mass shootings a year? It's because we're busy doing. If you want to stop school shootings, you'll stop the four-seam fastball in baseball. That is exactly the same as saying mass shootings and abortion are linked. Stop it. Stop it.
Yeah.
Fucking stop the bullshit. Abortion has got nothing to do with school shootings, mass shootings. Come on, guys.
And he here's something interesting. He says the quote that they picked out is, when you break up the nuclear family, when you tell a generation of people that life has no value, no meaning, that it's expendable, then you do wind up with school shooters. So what's very interesting about that is he's dog whistling the two things together. There's that sort of family values, the anti-abortion, pro-life rhetoric in there, but that's also the same tip he was on about evolution, right? It's very anti-evolution, right? This whole thing, you tell people that life has no value, no meaning, that it's expendable. That's both those things being tied together for them, right? It's and that's very much how they see it.
But again, they're so busy talking that they can't do any of the listening. Because if you just want to sit here and play this game, again, the exact same side that says don't have an abortion because all life is sacred, since we're murdering babies in the womb, that leads to school shootings. Christians, you literally have a belief that everyone that does not agree with you is going to be hurt in ways that are so physically unimaginable, you can't put pen to fucking paper to describe it. And by the way, the person who's going to hurt us also apparently loves us more than anything. Right? I mean, you guys have no moral high ground to stand on. But either way, be it it's because of evolution, because of abortion, or the concept of hell, I'm starting to really think that the fucking problem has to do with the guns in this country. The easy access to guns, where you could literally get out of an insane asylum, a fucking prison. A teenager would have a harder time passing a fake ID to buy beer and cigarettes than they would to go get a rifle. Again, I don't even have kids. And what pisses me off is that I'm more upset about kids dying in school than parents are. And when every time this comes up at work and the gun nuts, are jerking off to this shit, I'm like, do you want to know what all school shootings have in common? And they all say, what, AR-15s? I'm like, no. They happen at a school. It's that place that you send your kids for 8 hours a day
Right.
The kids, the teachers, the janitors, the principals, the coaches, they've got more contact with your kids than you do. You don't know your kid's best friend, but the janitor does. You don't know what's in their locker, but other people do.
Right.
I'm more upset that school kids are slaughtered on a regular basis than people who actually have kids and send their kids to these meat machines.
Yeah.
So again, I'm just tired of the bullshit, man.
Yeah, and then even after the recent mass shootings, he said that America doesn't have a gun problem; it has a heart problem. The problem is the human heart. You know, it's literally
that's got to be it. Yeah,
prayer. He said prayer is an appropriate response, and we got to change hearts and minds. Like just unbelievable.
Yeah.
All right, let's keep going to this list. All right. He also blamed abortion for Social Security and Medicare cuts. He blamed mass shootings on teaching evolution. We saw that.
I don't like this guy.
He fought to make taxpayers fund a Noah's Ark theme park. And yes, y'all, it's that Noah's Ark theme park, working with Ken Ham and Answers in Genesis. He's literally the AIG lawyer. He fought to ban same-sex marriage in Louisiana. He led an anti-gay campus movement. He wrote a lot of homophobic op-eds. That's not surprising. That's a new fact for me, but not surprising at all. He introduced the national version of Florida's Don't Say Gay bill. He was an advocate for covenant marriage, which makes it harder to divorce. He blamed post-Katrina looting on America turning away from God.
Stop. Nope. Okay. Once again, please go fuck yourself. How do you say that out loud? I told you, I kicked someone out of my gym and off my roster. One of the hardest nights I've ever had was right after Katrina. And maybe we were a week or two out. We hadn't even put a dollar amount on the damage. We're still trying to figure out what are we going to do next. And I still remember it was the first time where the kid became the parent. And I literally stayed up all night long with my mom on the phone while she was crying. And the whole night I was like, you got to calm down. You got, because we still had a cousin that was missing who hadn't checked in. It's like, you're not helping, Mom. You're not helping. You got to calm down. And it was a horrible night. Long story short, after no sleep, eyes are bloodshot, breath reeks of coffee, I show up at work for my first appointment. And while the person is stretching and warming up, she started off the day by telling me, I know I shouldn't say this, but. And I was like, this is going to be bad. We aren't 10 to 14 days removed from Hurricane Katrina. And she sat there and she told me, I believe God sent Hurricane Katrina to New Orleans to destroy the wicked for homosexuality. And I remember I immediately perked up. I'm not even close to bullshitting. And I was like, do you see that door that you walked in? You're like, yeah. I want to see your monkey ass on the other side of it. You're done. You get the fuck away from me. And if you come back next week for the appointment, I'm going to look at you like you're fucking stupid. We are done. We are done. We are done. This is what happens, gang. This is what happens when you believe in the bullshit. It makes you say some fucked up shit like that. How do you say that to anyone after a real fucked up ass tragedy like that? And now this fuckface, he blamed Hurricane Katrina because we didn't jerk God off enough. Even if that was the case, that shows how immoral and how petty the Christian God is. You didn't jerk me off hard enough. So, again, it's not just New Orleans. We're the ones who got the press. The entire Gulf Coast got fucked, gang. I let all these people die in the most horrific manner because you didn't give me a shoulder rub. That's why. This person does not deserve the speaker's gavel. How do you govern everybody when you openly admit you hate a good fraction of this country? Come on, man. He can go fuck himself with a statement like that. Come on, guys.
Yeah. This guy is Utterly irredeemable. Again, I was thinking when I was thinking about this last night, I was thinking to myself, you got to be all types of fucked up to get
Oh,
us
yeah.
to pause the Donald Trump train and focus on your ass because you know you're even more wild than he is. And again, this is the problem when Trump empowers the true believers.
Exactly. And this, we got problems, and it starts with this bullshit. And you're right, Crystal. I remember that. I absolutely remember that. Right? 2 weeks, almost 2,000. Yeah, there we go. There's your bullshit. There, and you guys wonder why Christopher Hitchens celebrated his ass off when Falwell died, because he kicks this type of bullshit. Right? It's like, you know, oh, you have to forgive. You have to. If I ever found out the people who murdered my grandfather, and if I found out that their ending was horrible, and I sat there to the families, I'm like, hey, come closer, come closer. I'm glad. Right? Go fuck yourself. Right? And it was like, well, you have to love that person. No, I don't. No, I do not. No, I don't.
It's what happens when you just have to interpret everything through that lens.
Exactly. Again, I've got no problem hating people who hate me first. No problem at all. And so when Falwell said, again, people drown. You guys understand that? I'm going to talk about my people. People in New Orleans, they fucking drown. And then you got this fuckface with millions of followers sitting there saying, well, you know, you filthy fucking faggots were sucking dick, so God had to kill them all. Fuck you. Yeah. Hitchens celebrated. And you know what? So did I. Nah, you can again, I've got no problem hating people who hate me first. And if that's how you feel about Katrina, fuck you. You goddamn right. This is just awful. You know how many cocktails I'm going to have before the end of this show?
He is
holy shit.
He's a pretty terrible person. He doesn't believe in the separation of church and state. Referred to the so-called separation of church and state. And then he said, if anybody tries to convince you that your biblical beliefs and your religious viewpoint needs to be separated from public affairs, you should politely remind them to review history, and you should not back down. He once partnered with the conversion therapy organization. Fuck that. His wife ran a conversion therapy organization and a Christian counseling group. All right, he suggested that Rome fell apart because it was too gay. Oh, here we go. His wife is an anti-gay therapist whose work was inspired by the ancient Greeks. He was the dean of a college that failed to launch, and it's not clear whether he has a bank account.
Jesus H. Christ.
So despite his salary, he doesn't have any. Interesting.
Isn't it? I was going to say diabolical, but yeah, we can go with interesting. Come on, gang. Come on.
Oh, I got my fire over here.
Are you guys not afraid yet? This is literally the number 2 person. If Biden goes down and Vice President Harris isn't fit, you're looking at your new president. This person backs what has been legally defined as torture. You guys should be fucking afraid. This is what my best friend said right after we elected Trump. And he said this fucker's damage will be generational. Even if Trump is a one-term president, what he fucks up, we'll be feeling those ripple effects for a long time.
Yes.
This is what Simon was talking about.
Yes, absolutely.
Even if Trump does not get into office, the judges he appointed, people like this fuckface, Mike John, this is what Simon was talking about. And again, this fucker openly endorses hate and legalized torture. And enough people know what this isn't underground shit. And I know I'm talking a lot, but this fucker just is really making me mad. You kicked me in my face when we were talking about the Katrina stuff. People know this is not new information about Mike Johnson. and people still think he's the man for the job. Come on, guys. Come on.
Absolutely. So that to me, that's a lot. I mean, that's filled in a lot of information I didn't have actually. And the first thing, now we know who we're dealing with. And I wanted to do that because I don't know how much everybody knows about this guy or whatever, but I wanted to set the stage, right? Because we're gonna look at this guy. What did you say his name was? You know his name,
Nick Jones.
Nick Jones. Yeah, we're gonna be looking at Nick Jones, talking about Mike Johnson. And so I wanted to just give us a little background, do a little homework on who Mike Johnson is. All right, so let's go ahead and get into the main event here. And again, gang, we're interested in this because it's actually sort of given us a perspective on how the right are taking this. All right, let's hit it with the Autobots transform and roll out.
Yes, this is going to hurt. This is going to hurt.
And let's roll this fucked up ass tape.
All right, y'all, look, pay attention because the new Speaker of the House carries his Bible. Most of y'all don't even carry your Bible. When's the last time you took your Bible to church? Keep it real. Not your phone, your Bible. When's the last time you took your Bible to church? New Speaker of the House carries his Bible. This tweet said, "Did Mike Johnson just bring a Bible in front of the house? Okay, he has won me over." New Speaker of the House, Mike Johnson, is in prayer with some other members of the House.
Pause the tape.
I was trying.
Enough. I mean, come on, fuck yourself, Christians. And I hope one of you sees this. Can you guys stop fucking acting like you're the minority class?
I know, right? Like you're so oppressed.
He's so bold. He's a really. You guys really think it's hard being a Christian in the United States? Because if you do, again, and not that anyone's obligated, I've been saying this quite literally since season 1 of my show. Take the Uncle Bobby challenge. 7 days, 7 t-shirts that identify you as something other than a Christian, an atheist. In this country, especially the South, maybe even a Muslim. Then I will wear a t-shirt for 7 days, identifying myself as a Christian. On the 8th day, let's come back and talk about our experiences. I cannot stand this bullshit. Oh, it was so bold that he carries his Bible. Versus what?
Exactly.
This is an act.
Yes.
And it is an act that is completely insensitive and offensive to everyone not a Christian in this country. Because Christians, the fucking persecution that you claim to feel, you don't. Persecution, by definition, is what it is you do to everyone else. The Speaker of the House wants to literally outlaw gay people from existing. And a good portion of this country agrees with him. You are not the persecuted class. It is not bold to say you're a Christian.
Yeah.
And, I can't stand you,
and honestly, everything is wrong with this. First off, it's so
totally
interesting how he's so motivated by the virtue signaling of a physical Bible. Even as somebody who's like participated in churches, like you just don't need to physically bring your Bible to church. And people know this because it's actually, your phone is a way better Bible than any Bible, right? Because you could compare all the versions, you could get the commentary and the liner notes and all of this. But for them, it's all about signaling outwardly, right?
Yep.
Your profession by carrying a physical Bible. And then to be so excited about this when there's so much wrong. Like Uncle Bobby, it would be weird as even right now at your, I'm assuming you're at the for some reason I always think you work at a gym. I don't know why. Okay.
A fitness studio. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. It would be weird as hell for you to bring your Bible with you every day to work.
Totally.
Like, it just would be. It's a weird thing to do to bring your Bible to work. Like, that's some weirdo stuff right there. But when you're the Speaker of the House, when you're a United, or even before that, then when you're a United States Congressperson, it's also a clear, like, not even violation, but a smear of the separation of church and state. Yeah. It is like, I am going to bring my Bible with me to govern.
It is a fuck you to the law of the land. And Christians, if you think I'm fucking around, what if Mike Johnson was Muhammad Akbar? What if Muhammad Akbar brought the Quran?
Yes.
And said, you want to know about my worldview? Well, the Quran right here says blankety blankety. You guys would shit all over yourselves. You guys think I'm bullshitting? Look how we treat Rashida Tlaib and Ilhan Omar. Look at it. We spend more time accusing Ilhan of having sex with her brother, all the while making excuses for Donald Trump, who openly says he wants to fuck his own daughter.
Yes.
And he gets to pass because he says he's a Christian. Then you say, what's your favorite book of the Bible? He can't name a book in the Bible. And when he does, he fucks it up.
But look, I'm gonna have Senator Akbar and AOC and Ilhan Omar. I'm gonna have them get together, bring their mats down to the floor of the chamber, and have their little prayer session. Right? These dudes would lose their mind, but they're openly gang. Look at it. For the podcasters, you can't see this. I just always want to say that when you say podcasters, you can't see this, but what you have here is actual huddle of 7 all-white dude Congress people actually kneeling in the House of Representatives. Having a prayer session on government property. Like
Yeah. And that's what I'm saying. Even if this is off hours, it's kind of like the whole high school football coaches, doing prayer with you can't do it. You can't do it. The undue pressure on the kids that aren't participating, you can't ignore that. But more importantly, the only reason why we support coaches praying with their athletes in high school is because normally it's Kevin Johnson, it's Randy Simpson. But again, if Muhammad Akbar did it, pulled out prayer rugs, not problems, a riot, a lynch mob. Again, you Christians would lose your fucking minds. Oh, go fuck yourself. It was a school district in Dallas because Greg Abbott, he has struck down the whole separation of church and state here in the Texas. He said, fuck you. But you can now hang religious imagery, teachers, in public classrooms and gyms and everything like that. It's like, you can't be serious. And it was somewhere in the Dallas area. And there was a clip, and it was a Muslim dude. And he was like, okay, well, this is what we're going to do here. Here's my sign. So we're going to go ahead and hang that sign. And of course, it was like in Arabic. And there was like, well, Mr. Muhammad, what does that read? Oh, it was like, Allah is the one true prophet, Muhammad, all that good stuff. And then it was like, well, we can't do. It's like, yeah, you can. You guys remember when you said we can hang our religious imagery? Right. Well, that Christian kid did. So now my Muslim kid is going to do go ahead and hang that up. I want to see you do it. Gang, you should. What do you mean by that? What do you mean by that? That's on the West there for the much. Well, according to paragraph 2, subset B, and they did everything they could to stall that meeting until time ran out. So Mr. Muhammad couldn't have his Muslim imagery put up. Christians, the gig is up. Everyone knows that you guys want to run this shit with your Christian bullshit. Again, this is not okay. These fuckers kneeling on the floor of the house, not okay. Yeah, bringing your Bible to work, not okay. I don't care. I don't want to know that my president believes in bullshit. I want you to do the job you were elected to do. And yeah, again, I bash everyone equally. When Obama sat there and said that he gets daily scripture on his BlackBerry, and I'm like, I don't care.
Yeah.
I don't care. You're going to sit here and consult a magic book of bullshit as you're sending people off to die in a godforsaken land?
Right.
No. So yeah.
My dude, how did that tell us how that got you through Harvard Law? Like
exactly.
Crazy.
You studied. This is gonna hurt. I need a refill.
Yeah.
It's Mike Johnson.
This show is bad for Uncle Bobby's liver, y'all. Make sure y'all hit us with a thumbs up, man. We out here sacrificing our health for this, man.
The things we do for you guys.
During his speech, I'm going to show you just the highlights of the speech, not all the highlights, but like the biblical highlights, because he got into scripture. He got into a lot of stuff revolving God, which I thought was extremely interesting. But you know, anytime you have somebody who's bold in their faith,
here we go.
There's going to be people who don't like it.
Word.
And let me just tell you, the backlash that this man is receiving, you would think that he was the Antichrist.
I hate this.
A lot of people on the left are very upset. A lot of people on the left, they believe that Mike Johnson is worse than Trump. They believe that this is a very dark day for America.
No,
it is a dark day. Now, yeah, what seems to be the problem?
He is. Yeah, this is. Trump used this conservative movement because it was his only path to power. Okay, so to be honest, he really wasn't about that life. Like Trump doesn't really care about their issues. Now, he did deliver big things for them, like judges. Like the first word that should come to your mind when you hear Donald Trump is conservative judges. And boy, we're going to be dealing with them for about 3-4 lifetimes because of the way he jigged up the judicial system.
Absolutely.
But when you talk about somebody like Mike Johnson, you're talking about somebody who used his sort of Christo-fascist credentials to make a name for himself in the first place. I talked about this a little bit on Steph's show at the end, but the difference is usually a person has a very legitimate background. Like, you know, a lot of times people have been in public service their whole lives. They were a council person, then the mayor, then they, became a state senator, then they eventually ran for Congress, and they got 30 years of service. And in the first 25, they were still teaching at a public school or whatever, right? And that's why they're an elected official. But you kind of realize they've got some weird beliefs, like, maybe they're super conservative and religious. And so they've always, been kind of right leaning and, they're pro-life and all this type of stuff. Right. In other words, their body of work still speaks for itself, but they just have some dangerous ideology. When you deal with somebody like Mike Johnson, he has built his credentials on his ideological bona fides or whatever, how they say it. Like, that is his resume. Like, he's a professional Christo-fascist, right? And his wife is like these people are about that life. That's the difference.
And it's so interesting, the different perspectives. You have people who see Mike Johnson and they see a potential, a possibility of, greater things, bringing values back to America, Christian values, submission to God, which is what he spoke about in his speech.
And again, this is so, these people hate America.
Bullshit.
They hate democracy. They hate it.
But when he says bring values back, first and foremost, where did our values go? And it's like, well, what are you talking about? Bring it back. And again, which values do you want to hold dear? Is it the one that says we need to sell rape victims to their rapists? Is it that one? Exactly which value do you want to talk about? Is it the value that God, knowing in advance that everyone's going to piss him off, drown every single last motherfucker on the planet? Is that the value you want to talk about?
Yeah.
Or maybe it's the value, because I'm in the Old Testament, right? Let's go to the New Testament, where he says, not only I'm going to burn you motherfuckers, every single last one of you. And that's the fun part, because the ones that I burn that are willing to jerk me off, you get to party. And by party, I mean you get to suck my nuts nonstop for trillions of nonstop years. But the ones that chose not to choose, you're going to be burning in hell forever. Which one of the values do you want to talk about, dude?
Exactly. Now, Uncle Bobby, we've made it through about 2 minutes of his video before I'm going to go here. But fuck it, this is the blackout, so I'm going to go here. Let's talk about the coonery of it all. Because as soon as I hit him with as soon as I hit him with the slaves obey your master, what side of that fence you think he's going to be on?
Oh, well, you took it out of context. That's we're not talking about chattel slavery. Actually, the only way to make an excuse for biblical slavery is to sell your fucking soul. It describes slavery to a T.
Right.
So there's again, this dude can go fuck himself. He is terrible, horrible.
Absolutely.
I'll show you in a second.
Oh,
but then you have some people who see that and they see those words, they hear those words, that is, and they're absolutely terrified. Because to keep it real, Mike Johnson is
an asshole,
the least experienced Speaker of the House that we've ever had before.
No,
but I don't see that as being a problem, because you know as well as I know that God can raise up whoever he wants to raise
okay.
up.
Can we stop? Just stop. Pause the tape. This is so infuriating. This is like Trump. Well, I like the fact that he's not a politician and he has no experience. Politics is the job description.
Right.
God damn it.
Right.
Oh, man, my leg is turned on backwards. This is all kinds of fucked up. Now, my neighbor's a mailman, so I like him because he's not an orthopedic surgeon. Just stop.
Exactly.
Bragging that some way, somehow, this is, if your kid is real fucked up, you want the doctor that's been on the job for 30 years, whose track record for diagnosing and solving super complex medical issues is almost second to none. That's who you want. You know who you're not going to get? The person who just started their residency. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. This person is still trying to, wait, you mean I set the cast wrong? Oh, what's that? You don't know what your kid's dying of? Come on in here. I'm going to hook them up. No, absolutely not.
Right.
Why is it in American politics we now celebrate the least experienced of all of us?
Right.
I mean, come on, guys. Enough of this crap.
No, this is 100%
bullshit.
The point, like it's they do this with a lot of things, right? They're very just anti how the civil system works. Yeah. I think about the same thing about like taxes. They celebrate the businessmen who don't pay any taxes. Oh yeah. No. And I'm like, how does that make you patriotic or qualify for office that you literally avoid contributing to the public good? How the hell is that patriotic?
Yeah. Yeah.
Why would you celebrate that? And you talked about the military earlier. Yeah. They're the same way. They clown people who actually serve and sacrifice. They call them suckers.
Yep.
Donald Trump wanted to have a military parade that did not include wounded soldiers.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Thought it made him look bad.
It's all a fashion statement. It is all a fucking fashion statement. This is disgusting. The worst of the worst. Hi, Maya. I just saw that you popped in. This is some bullshit.
Absolutely.
If there's somebody in a position of power, it's because God either allowed that to happen or
smashing
put that
the patriarchy
specifically
in
that position of power. And that's what we've seen all throughout scripture, right?
Why is this happening?
But anyway, let me show you this video real quick because I thought this
was
super
play
interesting.
the video.
And then I'll show you exactly what Mike Johnson
we're
was
reacting to a reaction of a
Bible
reaction. I love it.
everything like that.
Well, they did it. There's a new Speaker of the House. This is Mike Johnson. He represents Louisiana. He's a Republican and a part of the Christian right faction of the party.
I'm sorry.
Johnson is known for his support of a total federal abortion ban and the overturning of same-sex marriage. He once said that Roe v. Wade needed to be overturned because every American woman has a duty to produce one able-bodied worker. He also thinks that medical marijuana should be federally restricted and called it a gateway drug. He has extremely close ties to Christian fundamentalist groups like Focus on the Family and the Alliance Defending Freedom. In fact, he used to be an attorney and the media spokesperson for the Alliance Defending Freedom. Johnson does not believe in climate change. He does believe in conversion therapy. He supported Donald Trump's ban on Muslim immigrants. And in 2019 and 2020, he served on Trump's legal counsel for the Senate impeachment trials. He has actively campaigned against the day of anti-bullying and campaigned for students to have the ability to pray out loud in class as part of their...
Hold on, did I not show y'all a clip of this man when we started this show about his awfulness? Did we not review 20 horrible facts about Mike Johnson? How is it that she's talking for 30 seconds and this is chock full of bad stuff about Mike Johnson that we still did not know? It's like everywhere you look, there is just more new terribleness coming out about this person. This is terrible.
I said this on my show about Mike Johnson. I'm going to repeat it now. Mike Johnson being the new Speaker of the House is no different than someone who refuses to lie about their current membership to the Ku Klux Klan. I don't see the difference. Oh yeah, I'm totally part of a hate organization, and we hang niggers and we hate faggots, and I'm looking forward to being the Speaker of the House and white power, and get back to Africa. I fail to see the difference, and I say that without jest. This is so painful to listen to.
Yeah,
that not just that Mike Johnson is so full of hate, but you got coons like this happy little motherfucker that he's the new Speaker of the House. Again, I've said this about my Adolf Hitler analogy. Adolf Hitler didn't bother me. One emotionally stunted, one-nutted asshole screaming in his pillow at night how much he hates Jews. You can't stop stupid people from being stupid. What bothered me is that he convinced a better portion of an entire countryside to adopt his views on fucking Jews. That's my problem. I don't care that Mike Johnson hates gay people. My problem is he can say it out loud and people like, I'm voting for that asshole. That's my fucking problem. He can sit there and say New Orleans fucking drowned because they didn't jerk my God off hard enough. And people were like, say that again, Mike. Say it again, Mike. Say it again. I'm going to repeat it for the 1 billionth time. Conversion therapy not only is sitting on some bullshit, it has been legally fucking defined as torture. And Mike Johnson thinks that it's A-okay. He's got ties to Focus on the Family. If you guys think I'm bullshitting, look it up. Focus on the Family is actually recognized as a hate group. It's Focus on the James Dobson. It's a hate group. It's a hate group by definition. And Mike Johnson's behind them.
Yep.
Come on, guys.
We are dealing with out and out fascist. Yeah.
God damn.
And look, we need to be real about the electoral threat of these people. And here's what I'm seeing happen. A lot of us got Trump fatigue, and we're still in the midst of it. And it felt so good to sort of defeat Trump. But it's deeper than saying something like MAGA hasn't gone anywhere. Here's what I think is really happening, y'all. This divisiveness of Trump really was hurting the politics of the Republican Party. Because Trump was successfully primarying people. Trump was, getting rid of traditional conservatives and all this type of stuff, they were having their issues and they took a lot of losses for it.
Oh yeah.
But I think what they're doing now is they're taking their traditional base and their MAGA base, and they're actually finding candidates who are acceptable to both.
God damn.
And there are a lot of Trump or die people that were basically apathetic, non-voting types before Trump, who Trump activated. And there are some of them who, if Trump is not on the scene anymore, they will just go back to being apathetic and stay at home. But most are in this game for real now. And so I think, and this is thoughts I'm having as I'm experiencing all this in real time. This is not playing commentary at all. I'm literally been thinking about this during this show. But that is the real threat I think we're dealing with, is they are finding those people that are going to they're going to satisfy the traditional conservatives and the MAGA voters, and they are true believers who are about that life. So it's pretty
but
scary.
The line has been so blurred between, because when I was a kid, being a Republican fell underneath a different heading. Now Republican means Trump loyalist, and it's getting harder to tell who are the Republicans versus who are the Trump loyalists. Because if we had a presidential election right now, can't tell you who the Democratic candidate would be, but I can tell you who the Republican one would be.
Yeah.
So it's like, where does Republican end and Trump loyalist start up? You know what I mean? So I don't know.
I think that's exactly what they want, right? That's good.
And mission accomplished.
Yeah.
I can't even catch a buzz. This is
First Amendment rights. He has never chaired a House committee and will be the least experienced Speaker of the House in over 140 years. He's also an Aquarius, for those of you who care.
All right, she's stressed out. I think it's a she, at least. I don't want to be disrespectful.
Oh, boy.
I don't want to miss.
Here we go.
I think it's a she. Anyway. Let me just.
I just want to say that right there. People need to understand this story. If you're into the Pocket Locker 86 lore, that is why I debated Kent Hovind. Kent Hovind did that to somebody he was debating, and it pissed me off to no end. He spent 90 minutes debating this person, and then pulled that very same stunt at the end. Oh, I'm not sure, but really with the and it fucking drove me insane. So that's a move that they do. That's their way of marking people and checking certain people. And honestly, like it's totally uncalled for. We to me, it's like slurring somebody. Like, we should call that shit out anytime we see it. Like, that's totally unacceptable.
For a second. All right. She was talking about, okay, he doesn't believe in, he supports an abortion ban. Can we just say, like, we shouldn't be killing babies? I don't know why this has become such a polarizing topic. I understand that there's nuances in this argument, and a lot of horrific things happen from time to time. But even in those horrific things that happen, where women are assaulted and things of that nature, resulting in pregnancy. I feel like there's a different way that we could figure out a solution that is both beneficial to.
Pause the tape. Again, Christians, I need every Christian who's on this tip to kindly go fuck yourself. I do. This bullshit argument that you guys have, which isn't an argument, that why are we punishing the baby for the crimes of the father? If that is your argument, you need to stop being a Christian, because that is the foundation of your business model.
Yes.
We are all going to go to hell because Dirtman and Ribwoman pissed off a talking snake. So as a result, we're all fucked. So again, this whole, well, I want to be gentle, because in terms of assault, there has to be a better way. The better way is for you to stay out of it. Again, if you do not support abortion, don't have one. But don't tell that person, regardless of how they got pregnant, what to do with their meat. Again, Well, in terms of rape, we're not going to punish the kid for the crimes of the father. If that's the case, welcome to atheism. You need to stop being a Christian because that is the foundation of your fucking business model. So please go fuck yourself.
Yes.
I hate when Christians say that.
Yeah.
I hate it.
I'm gonna give you another one too. Like,
hit me.
Please, Christians, go ahead and come up with a better option. Notice how nothing is stopping you. And the thing that is funny about them is that your legislative efforts are the proof that you can't come up with a better solution. Please notice how there's absolutely no laws, no policies, no special taxes, none of that stopping them from coming up with a better solution. If y'all were in fact coming up with a solution that was better, people would be free to choose your better solution. Oh, look, the Christian came up with this program and it turns out I love this idea. So instead of having an abortion, I'm going to go with the Christian program. Please notice how that's not happening.
But I think their better solution is on the table. And that is do what I tell you to do. Right. We here in Texas, and I think, was it Georgia? But when we were passing these ridiculously outdated anti-abortion laws, the governors, the senator, they always is like, this is a victory for God. Their better option is do what I tell you to do. You don't know me. Yeah, I know that, but I know what's better for you than you. Yeah, but I got pregnant by whatever the fucking means, consensual or not consensual. That person's motivations for not wanting to carry that pregnancy have got nothing to do with these fuck faces. So they have presented their better option, and it is do what I tell you to do.
Right.
In some way, somehow, Nick Jones knows better wherever the fuck land he is. Right now, someone just got pregnant in Boston, Massachusetts. They've put pen to paper and they've come to the realization this isn't the thing that I need to be doing right now.
Yeah.
But some way, somehow, people like Nick know better than the person in Boston. It's like, go fuck yourself. Again, they have presented their better option. And their better option is do what I tell you to do.
Yeah.
That's bullshit.
And
bullshit.
it speaks to dominionism too, because it's just like, why do you want to rule over the rest of us and force us into your thing instead of just, hey, put it on the table and see if we like what you come up with. They know that. They know they essentially it's a confession that they don't have good ideas and that they don't solve problems. They just spend time trying to force people to do things their way.
Oh, straight bullshit.
The mother and the child, as opposed to just terminating life.
Shut up.
Also, when she was talking about, he believes that every woman should produce, a worker, or basically that every woman should have a child. Here's my stance, and I know this is going to be a controversial stance.
Pause the tape. I got to just say, as soon as somebody's going to say something to me about the value of life, terminating life, any of these buzzwords, gang, I will be that cranky old person who never shuts up about the fact that I lived through COVID-19 so far. Right. Honestly, I'm gonna tell y'all how real it is for me, y'all. I don't like saying I've lived through COVID-19. I don't like saying I've survived, because I don't think that that's true. I think given the current state of shit, my most likely fate is like catching COVID and catching COVID complications and checking up on out of here, because it's just we've just changed the whole landscape. And so I think it's like, don't count your chickens before they're hatched or whatever. But I got to know where this guy is at, because when you tell me that you were not a fan of social distancing and didn't want to stay home and can't believe that children can figure out how to do math problems without looking at each other's faces, all the bullshit that they came up with, and my body, my choice, do not comply, all this type of shit, we're done. We're done. we're done, because you're going to sit up here and try to tell another person that they need to go through with a pregnancy and potentially spend the rest of their life as the parent of another human being, but you were not willing to work from home or wear a mask to save people's grandmothers. We're just, this conversation is over.
Exactly. Nailed it.
Yeah, that's just, I'm gonna always be that person.
That's fucking perfect.
Oh, yeah.
I'm stealing that, by the way. I'm stealing
Oh,
that.
go for it.
If you're a woman and if you're healthy and able and married,
oh God,
why are you not having at least one child?
Go fuck yourself.
Married,
please go fuck yourself.
Oh my goodness.
Please go fuck yourself.
Oh my goodness.
Please go fuck yourself.
Oh,
I don't like
goodness.
this guy. I really don't like this guy. If you're pregnant and you're married, okay. Again, for Nick and whoever he's fucking or not, whatever the fuck, if that's what works, this is so mind-blowingly insensitive. I can't believe he's saying this out loud. I cannot believe he's saying this out loud. Look, if this works for Nick and whoever he's with, fine. But you don't get to tell anyone else.
No.
Again, I'm going to release a video after this because I saw a quick clip of a Matt Dillahunty debate. Again, this is why if I just have to pick a worldview, secular humanism. And the easiest way to describe secular humanism is, if you were in charge of creating a system, what system would you create if the only caveat is you didn't know how you're going to be plugged back in? What system would you create?
Yep.
Right.
That's the easiest way to think about it.
It's absolutely the easiest way. And again, I would create a system to where, Nick, if that's how you want to get down, then get down.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't want to have a kid until you are married, if you want to save yourself for marriage to have sex, okay. I personally think that's sitting on some bullshit. So Uncle Bob's going to do some fucking. But if you don't want to do that, Nick, then don't do it. And if you get somebody pregnant while you're married and you think that's the best thing, okay.
Yeah.
I don't have to follow those rules. But if that's how you want to do it, then that's how you do it. But to sit here and, again, you arrogant sons of bitches, to sit here and think that you know better for total strangers what's best for them, you're just talking out of the side of your fucking face.
Yeah.
I can't stand this.
And I think it's really important that we stop letting these people pretend that they're like pro-social, that they have people's best interest in mind. And we also got to stop letting them pretend that they're patriotic and pro-democracy, because again, like, all you're doing is talking about taking away people's freedom. They hate the idea of America. America is supposed to be the place where you want to have a kid. I don't want to have a kid. You get to have a kid. I get to not have a kid. That's freedom, baby. Yep. That's land of the free, home of the brave right there. They hate that. They just
Yep.
It's one child, because that's a blessing. The fact that you are able to bear life, to bring life into this earth, is such an incredible privilege that God has specifically given to women. Why would you not want to participate in that? That's such a beautiful thing.
Because some people don't want to fucking do that.
A gateway drug.
Because some people
because you got to understand.
Want to do it.
Exactly.
Come on, why wouldn't you want? Again, why wouldn't you want to eat Brussels sprouts? Because I fucking hate Brussels sprouts. So, Nick, you can have all the Brussels sprouts you want, but you don't get to tell me I have to have 3 servings of Brussels sprouts a day.
Yeah.
Right? It's like, it's the most phenomenal privilege. I mean, why wouldn't a woman want that? Did you ever say? I know gobs of women that have zero desire to have a baby. I know dudes who in their 30s and 40s got vasectomies. Knowing in advance they never want to hear the words. By the way, I'm pregnant. Again, if it works for you, knock yourself out, but you don't get to tell other people what's best.
Yeah.
I don't know why this is such a difficult topic.
And also I'm a come around here and we're gonna check you on these things, because I will always support a pregnant person's right to choose
100%.
under any circumstances.
100%. It's the only logical place to be.
But the funny thing is, again, Christians, nothing is stopping you from helping us present better options. I'm gonna believe pregnant people.
Yeah.
Now, again, I think people just need to have this right, so I really don't care what their reasons are, right? But some people do say that there are some reasons that could be prevented. People do speak of social and personal and economic insecurity sometimes as a motivator for these things. So Christians, please go ahead and hook us up with that free public education. That would be such a game changer in the cost of having a family. So you definitely support the federal SNAP program and all of these programs that make sure that we have nutrition for children, right? Oh yeah, you want people to participate in democracy, so you definitely wouldn't do something that would take away people's rights to votes, because you got the sanctity of life, and what's more sanctity in life than having the right to govern your own affairs, right? Like, Christians, go ahead, hook us up with that free healthcare, right? We need that universal healthcare, right? We need a universal basic income so that nobody's falling. There's what poverty line? Nah, sorry, we got this universal. What's a poverty line? Y'all are with all of that, right?
Right. No, when you present all of that, that's when they get to say, well, that's when you won't stop having babies that you can't afford.
Exactly. And I would say exactly. And we would say exactly. We say exactly.
The problem is they don't want to have a discussion. They want to lecture people. And they want to lecture people on what's best for them. And that's the fucked up part of all of this. Nick, the new speaker, all these fuck faces, they know better for you than what you do. There's your problem, boys and girls. There's your problem. Come on, gang. This is sitting on some bullshit.
Absolute
bullshit.
Damn, people, when they start smoking, like weed, for example, at a certain point, you start to build up a tolerance. And then the high that you were once receiving is no longer the same high. And then that's when you graduate to cocaine. That's when you graduate to opiates. That's when you graduate to
I can't. I can't.
Fentanyl and all that type of stuff.
It's just come on.
So I think that's accurate.
Pause the tape.
Praying in school.
Pause the tape. Here's the problem. I'm looking at this motherfucker. And despite the fact that I just took about 20 years off of my appearance by shaving my beard, I'm at least 15 years older than this guy. I can tell by looking at his baby face, the fact that his beard is all one color. Go fuck yourself. My beard hasn't been the same color since I was in my 20s. This is what they told us when I'm one of the first. I think I'm the first generation of DARE. You guys remember that? Drug and alcohol resistance education, just say no, all that. These are literal lines from DARE from the 1980s.
Yeah, the gateway drug theory.
It is not a gateway drug. It is not a gateway drug. Please go fuck yourself. This fuckface is literally talking like he's older than I am.
Exactly.
And that's Christians. The problem is you're so stuck trying to hold on to a 2,000-year-old moral manual. You don't realize everyone else is 500 steps ahead of you. Right? Whereas there's like, by the way, just so you know, being gay is a sexual orientation. Can we move on to something more important? Like, gun violence. You know what you Christians are saying? Stop being like dick sucking. I still have Christians sitting outside of my fucking grocery store in 2023 yelling at everyone in their fucking cars, calling us sodomite faggots. We need to solve real problems. COVID is still a topic of discussion. Gun violence is a topic of fucking discussion. You Christians are still stuck on an old script that we don't have enough people to focus on real world problems. You got Nick, who I promise you, I was in college when this little motherfucker was born, sounding like he's older than I am. But we totally know that marijuana is a gateway drug. And when you stop smoking pot, then you have to go to fentanyl. Then you have to start killing puppies. And then you have to start raping homeless people. And nothing he's saying is the least bit factual. I can't stand this motherfucker. This is why I paused the tape. So you guys, in the pregame show, I told Bundy I saw this clip. I listened to 30 seconds and I said, I can't do this.
Yeah, couldn't get through it.
The entirety of the show would just be me saying the word fuck for 50 minutes. So
yeah, well, you should be proud of yourself. It takes a lot of restraint, man. This guy is really terrible. But again, he's feeling himself. This is the day of reckoning. They're so happy that Mike Johnson has been elected nominated speaker, and that people are concerned. Like, again, this is crazy. But like you said, not listening, not having a conversation. Nope. He's celebrating, and again, bullshit. They think that you're just owning the left and celebrating that people are triggered, but this is just cruelty.
Yeah, totally.
I don't even know why that's a topic of discussion. Of course, children should be allowed to pray in school out loud.
Oh, God.
Oh, man.
I don't see anything wrong with that.
I
don't see anything wrong with that.
There's your problem.
There was a very interesting moment in his speech. I don't know if I have it pulled up. There was an interesting moment in his speech. Let me just play this recap real quick, and then you can see what I'm talking about here. Let me pull this up.
God. 25 years, Kelly. She's not here. We couldn't get a flight.
1 second.
Dedicated wife of almost 25 years, Kelly. She's not here. We couldn't get a flight in time. This happened sort of suddenly. But we're going to celebrate soon. She spent the last couple of weeks on her knees in prayer to the Lord. And we stand at a
lot of people didn't like that he said that. A lot of people didn't like when he said that his wife couldn't be here because everything happened so suddenly. She couldn't get a flight in time, right? But he was saying that she spent the last 24 hours on her knees in prayer, praying for him, praying to God. And a lot of people didn't like that. And a lot of people...
And also, gang, let's keep it real. If that's what she was doing, she was literally just praying for power, because faith is the worship of your own. Dear God, please intervene right now. Oh my God, my husband could be the third most powerful man in the person in the country. Just please, Lord Jesus, just please. Just so bad. Just elevate him above all those other candidates. Above all, like what type of nonsense? And again, like, this is so weird. I you got me stuck imagining just imagine the Muslim or even a Jewish person doing this in Congress. A Hindu person.
Way. No fucking way.
Man.
No fuck. And you know what? And hey, first and foremost, a fellow Southpaw is in the side chat, left-handed Jedi.
Oh, hell to the
yeah, you're right. On her knees praying. I didn't want to say easy thing.
I'm trying not to go there.
But again, every single time I hear a Christian this anti-gay, it's like I want to. There needs to be a shakedown. Somewhere on this fucker's person is a burner phone, is a burner laptop filled with transgender porn, filled with one dude completely filling another dude's booty hole full of man gravy. How much you guys want to bet that his wife has gone down on a woman before? How much you guys want to bet? Right? It's such a tired script that it's one of the world's easiest bets. It's like, well, how do you know that gravity's not going to change? It's one of the world's easiest bets.
Right.
If you are sitting here at this stage of the game, this anti-LGBTQ, I'll tell you why. And again, on her knees, yeah. Even if she's not going down on another woman, she's fucking her. This woman has never been late to a personal training appointment a day in her life. I promise you. She is getting her back is being blown the fuck out by Super Saiyan Tyrone. He has a dick down to his knees and a fucking hurricane tongue. You want to know why? Mike Johnson. Oh, baby. Oh, hold on. Let's read Leviticus while we have course. Okay. Second Samuel. I'm not enjoying it. I'm just gonna put my dick through the dick hole, baby. Okay. We're okay. Let's pray. Let's pray. Dear God, let this union become a child. Right? You know what Super Saiyan Tyrone is doing? He's doing all this shit that Mike.
All that freaky stuff.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Right. On her knees. Yeah, absolutely. And no, I don't think that's a cheap shot at all. I don't. At the end of the day, you're just talking. There's one guy talking shit about Mike Johnson. I've got no power.
Christianity, especially this type of Christianity, is bad for your sex life. I mean, that's fact.
Totally.
I keep trying to get people to admit that, but come on, gang, y'all know, this type of Christianity is not popping in the bedroom. Fuck out of here.
Garbage.
And the funny thing is, they try to brag like they have the best sex.
Oh yeah,
and it's like, stop.
Ted Haggard. Go the trials of Ted Haggard. It was Nancy Pelosi's daughter. I can try and remember her name. You guys look it up. Ted Haggard he said exactly what you said. Oh, evangelicals have the best sex life of gang. Ted Haggard was having gay sex with his masseuse.
Oh my goodness.
And I at this stage, I just love saying it. His name was Mike Jones.
Oh, like the rapper?
Yeah, exactly. And he and Mike Jones used to do meth and fuck each other. Exactly.
And then he would turn around on Sunday and preach against drugs and homosexuality.
Absolutely. Again, like I said, this is just sitting on some bullshit. Come on, man.
Different direction, and they immediately started thinking sexually. And it's like, y'all, are we so over sexualized that when somebody says that they were on their knees praying to God, the first thing that you think about is oral? Is that how, immature and over sexualized and perverted that we have become as a society?
It's a society in which being on your knees praying to God is fucking ridiculous.
Yeah.
Dangerous time. I'm stating the obvious. We all know that. The world is in turmoil. But a strong America is good for the entire world. We're only 247 years into this grand experiment. We don't know how long it will last. But we do know that the founders told us to take good care of it. I want to tell all my colleagues here what I told the Republicans in that room last night. I don't believe there are any coincidences in a matter like this. I believe that Scripture, the Bible, is very clear. That God is the one that raises up those in authority. He raised up each of you, all of us. And I believe that God has ordained and allowed each one of us to be brought here for this specific moment in this time. This is my belief. I believe that each one of us has a huge responsibility today to use the gifts that God has given us to serve the extraordinary people of this great country, and they deserve it. And to ensure that our republic remains standing as the great beacon of light and hope and freedom in a world that desperately needs it. That our national motto, "In God We Trust," was adorned above this rostrum.
Pause the tape.
And if you look at the little guide that they give,
pause the tape. Look, our national motto, "In God We Trust." Look, "In God We Trust" was put on our money in the mid 1950s. It was a response to the Red Scare. My parents grew up in a time long before "In God We Trust" was the quote unquote national motto. And it wasn't a godly thing. It was America's fight against communism. I know that. The sad part is this fuckface right here, Mike, is the #2 person in line for the president of the United States. And apparently he doesn't know that. Somebody please tell me how it is a brain damaged C student who quite literally got a D in remedial math. I'm not joking. My SAT scores were so low coming out of high school on math. I had to take a remedial math class. I had a fucking private tutor. I still got a D. And even I know in God we trust. It wasn't a religious initiative. It was just us trying to fight the Red Scare. Him, Marjorie Taylor Greene, Kevin, who's the speaker right before this guy? My brain just farted on him. Whoever the fuck he was, when he got on,
that guy?
Yeah, when he got on CNN and was talking about Rashida Tlaib, saying she's not an actual member because she didn't put her hand on the Bible.
Oh yeah,
and the reporter's like, because she didn't have to. Kevin McCarthy, thank you. And the reporter was like, it's because she didn't have to. He's like, yeah, you actually do. He's like, no, you don't. No, you don't. Well, I did it, and I did it 3 times. Well, it's because that's what you chose to do. Are you guys not afraid that we've got government employees that don't know how the government works?
Right.
This is fucked up. National motto. It was not a religious initiative. It was us separating ourselves from the communists.
And that's what's crazy now. It's like it's hard to tell who's smuggling government into their religion and who's using religion to govern it at this point.
Yeah.
This is really it's just we should be alarmed. And it's
Totally
not gonna happen,
alarmed.
but there actually should be laws against this shit.
Oh yeah.
We should absolutely have like actual legal protections against leaders doing this type of shit.
Oh, totally.
Tourists and constituents who come and visit the house, if you turn in there to about page 14 in the middle of that guide, it tells you the history of this. And it says very simply, these words were placed here above us. This motto was placed here as a rebuke of the Cold War era philosophy of the Soviet Union. That philosophy was Marxism and communism, which begins with the premise that there is no God. This is a critical distinction. America is the only nation in the world that is founded upon a creed. And he said it's listed with almost theological lucidity in the Declaration of Independence. What is our creed? We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, not born equal, created equal. They are endowed by the same inalienable rights, life, liberty, pursuit of happiness.
Dang. It said all men were created equal, not born equal, but created equal. I never even really sat and thought about that statement until right now.
This is just sound like such morons.
That is the creed that has animated our nation since its founding, that has made us the great nation that we are.
I don't know what else there to say, but that gang, that's just stupid to just take
beyond stupid.
Clearly poetic. That was just ridiculous.
And we're in a time of extraordinary crisis right now. And the world needs us to be strong. They need us to remember our creed and our conceit to you all.
Pause the tape.
I think it's really quick.
That's the fucking problem. He's right. And we all can kind of agree that we are in a crisis. The issue is we don't agree on the fucking crisis.
Absolutely.
Again, there are people dying of gunshot wounds. Well, I mean, who was it? Wasn't it Australia? Like in the 70s? They had a mass shooting. The next day, they woke up and said, everyone turned their guns in. You know what they did? Okay. They haven't had a mass shooting fucking since. We've got real fucking problems in this country. People like this are like, you know what the problem is? You know what the problem is? a woman that was made out of a man's rib, she ate an apple. It's all kinds of fucked up because the snake told her to eat the fucking apple. And then she's like, I can't eat the apple because God told me not to do it. And then the snake said, bitch, did God tell you that? Man, fuck God. Go on and eat this apple. The shit's fucking delicious. So she ate the apple. Then you'll never guess what? A magic curse, because they actually believe that we have a curse on us.
Right.
Because a snake told a woman to eat an apple. We are burdened with a magic fucking curse. These fuckers, I agree. We're at an impasse. We're at the crossroads.
Yeah.
There are things. COVID is still on. It's still a thing. It's something that we need to talk about. Right? Cancer. Trust me, I know. Fucking blows. There are things that we can actually fucking talk about. There are people tonight. Gang, I'm going to eat a steak tonight that's bigger than my fucking laptop. The potato
awesome.
that I'm about to make into twice baked potatoes, it's about as big as my foot. There are people not 5 miles that way that won't have dinner tonight. You guys understand that? There's so many fucking problems. Our prison system in this country is all kinds of fucked up. You guys want to know why? We have a punitive system of justice, not a restorative system of justice. Yep. We've got first world countries that we can use as an actual test tube to show, you know what? When you work on the problem gets better. America's like, well, let's just punish the problem. We've got so many fucking issues to deal with in this country. But this fucker, it's like, man, the new Speaker of the House brought a Bible. This is all kinds of fantastic. He's right. We do have problems. The only issue is we don't agree on what the problems actually are.
Yeah.
This is beyond horrible.
And horrible. Also, like, he's taking his place so that he can push the anti-democratic agenda. Yeah. Like, and I mean little d democratic, like the issue of representative government, the anti-Republican, small r Republican agenda. Like, just he's here to be a more effective obstructionist than previous speakers. Yep. And so only time will tell what he actually does, but it's gonna be fucking scary. And
totally.
We don't have time to waste. I don't know why we treat our whole system like it's some big joke, and like our lives aren't really passing us by while we let these clowns run the show.
That's the thing. A friend of mine is an actual climate scientist. And she told me it's not a matter of if, it's at this stage, it's a when. Right. It's not that Mother Nature is going to kick our ass. It's how bad is she going to do it? We have fucked this planet to a point to where it's irreversible. So it's only a matter of time. And again, we have a Speaker of the House that denies climate change.
Yep.
Right. And so again, he's right. There are real problems. The problem is we don't agree on what the real problems are.
Right.
People are like, you know what? We got to talk about the fucking climate. We got to talk about the fucking climate. Fuck faces like this, like, are you ready for the rapture? Are you ready for the rapture? This is the problem. We've got one side talking about reality. We have another side talking about some bullshit.
Yeah. Yeah.
So come on.
Yeah. 100%.
And essentially, the core principles of our nation. I boil them down to individual freedom, limited government, the rule of law, peace through strength, fiscal responsibility, free markets, and human dignity. Those are the foundations that made us the extraordinary nation that we are. And you and I today are the stewards of those principles. The things that have made us the freest, most powerful, most successful nation in the history of the world. The things that have made us truly exceptional. But I've made a commitment to my colleagues here that this Speaker's office is going to be known for decentralizing the power here.
Fuck out of here.
And I'm going to make this commitment to you, to my colleagues here and on the other side of the aisle as well. My office is going to be known for trust and transparency and accountability, for good stewardship of the people's treasure, for the honesty and integrity that is incumbent upon us, all of us, here in the people's house. Our system of government is not a perfect system. It's got a lot of challenges.
You know what?
But it is
You
still
are the fucking
the best.
challenge.
Pause the tape. Pause the tape. Yeah, we got to end the tape because I got to get
pause the tape
to
and
work
the
on
tape.
my. Yeah. So here's the problem. I can't listen to this out of this. You engineered the big lie. He engineered the big lie.
Right.
If I'm out to dinner with my mom and you come up, you spit on her and you slap her in her face, and then you're like, "Hey, you want to go grab a drink later?" No. I can't listen to a word you're saying. Right now, I'm actually getting ready to choke you in front of your fucking Jesus. And I hope this doesn't get this video or this channel flagged, but Donald Trump is the reason for January the 6th. Donald Trump is the reason for January the 6th. And the reason why January the 6th happened is because Donald Trump lost the election, but he convinced a good portion of this country that he actually won it. So that's why we had the second insurrection on U.S. soil in about 200 years. The new Speaker of the House was behind that.
Yep.
So how am I supposed to listen to anything he says after that? That's no different than coming up and slapping my mom and then a week later saying, "You want to go grab a drink?" No, I don't. Everything that you say after, Donald Trump actually won the election, I can't listen to a fucking word you say. This country's being run by a bunch of fucking gangsters and liars. He's terrible, awful.
And I don't, and the hard thing too is I don't know how we work our way out of this with people who won't even acknowledge that we have this problem, that we have this problem, that we've literally trying to turn the actual government into an extension of evangelical Christianity.
Right. And there's no discussion to be had because we can't agree on the topic of discussion. Right? There's a fire. There's a fire in somebody's house. I'm like, you know what? We should really put out the fire and save those lives. And this fuckface is sitting here, looks like, did you see how they landscaped their yard? I mean, that's all kinds of fucked up. I mean, who would put that bush next to that tree? There's no feng shui there. We're sitting here having this discussion, and one of us is like, the house is on fire. Save everyone inside. Let's put out the fire. This person's talking about they didn't edge their yard appropriately. We're not having the same discussion. And so again, we're just like, there are actual problems to be had and there's actual problems to be solved. He's happy that this fucker brought a Bible on the floor of Congress. Mm-hmm. And we're talking about, just so you know, he's a bigot, a transphobe. Right. He supports legalized torture and he walks lockstep with groups that have been deemed hate groups, like Focus on the Family.
Right.
We will never get to the end of the discussion because we can't have the same discussion.
Yeah.
This is just awful. Terrible.
Yeah. Yeah. This is a tough one to put a bow on because it's not good. It's not good. It's like this is not a good situation. What it indicates about the state of our democracy is something frightening. And one thing that's clear to me too is he's new to us, and a lot of us have just been educating ourselves, kind of figuring out who this guy is in the last week or so. But they knew. They knew the Congress people the sort of Republican consortium that put this guy in power. They knew exactly who he is because they knew in lockstep the narrative and how to portray him to us as soon as it happened. So it's this is tough. And for me, I wonder what we could lose as a result of Christianity that would be too far for us. In other words, does there ever come a time when we have to say, hey, look, we can't keep playing this game right now. There's just too much going on. You have me thinking about the fire. It's like somebody who gets attached to a teddy bear, and we've watched them build this relationship with the teddy bear and need the teddy bear and use the teddy bear for emotional support.
Oh, yeah.
And when the house is on fire and we're pulling them out, we're now trying to stop them from running back into the house and catching on fire to get the goddamn teddy bear.
Exactly.
And it's at that moment you're like, holy shit, should I have addressed this before it was going to cost us everything?
Yeah.
So I don't know, because that's the problem. Is I think so many people are numb to this. Christianity's become their identity, and so they just think this is perfectly normal.
It's a normal kind of crazy.
Telling us you're a good God-fearing man or whatever like that.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
I'll close with this. I'll just say that this is something I've been thinking we should talk about more, which is, have we become God-fearing atheists?
Yeah. Yeah, we have. Because I remember several times speaking up, like at work, and even fellow atheists have told me to pump the brakes, that we have to respect their religion. And I'm like, why? Again, it's the crazy that we are all okay with. Right?
Yes, the acceptable kind of crazy, yeah.
Right. Fuck around, like I said earlier. Let the football coach be Muhammad Akbar. Let Muhammad Akbar pull prayer rugs out before a game and watch everyone in this country lose their fucking minds. Right. But as soon as, like, you know what, get your Bibles out. Let's turn to the book of John. Let's recite some verses. All of a sudden, we have to talk about religious liberty. We have to talk about the First Amendment. It's quite simply, we are all used to this kind of crazy. And so even people who don't buy into it, buy in to that kind of crazy. It's just what we're used to. That's the bullshit portion. Yeah,
absolutely. Thank y'all so much for tuning in, gang. Really appreciate it.
Thank you. Always a good time. Always a good time.
We will have a hot program at 3:30, and definitely hit them damn links in the description.
Hit the likes, the links, do all that.
The likes, stuff. The shares, the comments.
Absolutely.
Actually, we also fixed the Gather link. I think our Gather link down there wasn't working, but come link up with us offline. We'll be hanging out in Gather. The link should work down there. And appreciate it. Uncle Bobby, sign us off, please.
All right, gang. The medium guy and the big guy have held you long enough. We're signing the fuck off. The black